You're listening to the Courtyard Club Call by the Scarf Bagara War, part of the Talksport fan network, by county fans, for county fans.
Okay, guys, and welcome to another Courtyard Club Call brought to you by the Scarf Bagara War in association with Edgeley Conservative Club Coaches. We will be reflecting on that first leg 2-2 draw at Leyton Orient, refusing to believe our dream of getting to the Championship is over. I will be referring to my notes throughout, ensuring we don't miss any of the talking points from that game, where we will be refuting any claims that the refereeing team was anything but incompetent, which will no doubt lead to yet another letter of apology from the PGMOL. No doubt requiring the club to buy a larger filing cabinet to store them all in, because I think we're up to number 5 or something now. Anyways, we have a full house tonight. We have Dan Culverwell, we have Big Rolo, we have David Whitehead, and we have Steve Barsley. Boys, the game, the match, the tie is still there. Dan, take me through how you think Dave was thinking when he put that team together.
I think it's just the best starting 11 he's got that is fully fit, to be honest. Like I said, not really much change from previous games. I think Horsfall came in and Connolly went out. So there was only one slight little change from that starting 11. But, you know, with suspensions and injuries, you know, it's the best 11 I think we've got, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. I was pleased to see him, from what it looked like on TV, playing a back 4. Fevs was definitely well up the pitch. Whether it was a back 5 or not, I couldn't quite tell, but I thought it was a back 4 with Hills playing right back. And it was a positive, definitely a positive formation. I don't know what's happened to Noah. I don't know if anybody's able to sort of say whether Noah's been injured or has he been dropped from the squad, but it was good seeing Torre and Hills in there rather than sort of the back 3 and then the slightly more defensive way of playing. And it was, I mean, before the game started, I thought we had a great chance. Dave, you were there. I know you went with Ellis and Dan Johnson.
Did.
Steve, you were there as well, I believe, and so was Dan. Lee, did you manage to make it down to Leyton Orient, or were you on the sofa not with me, but
No, I was on the sofa with the boy. The broken sofa now after that second goal went in. So
yeah. So Dave, how did you think we started that game?
I thought we started all right. It was quite cagey, wasn't it, at first, with sort of like both teams sort of feeling each other out. You know, we didn't seem to be in any problems, no troubles. They wasn't really causing us many threats, but we wasn't really causing them any threats either, really. That's how I saw it. It's just two teams cancelling each other out, really.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good chance on 4 minutes, didn't we, Steve? Wotton maybe the wrong player. Maybe Tanto might have been the better bet there, just with his pace to get away a little bit quicker, but decent chance, I think, really.
Yeah, it was. And he ran the line well, didn't he? Because he stayed on side. It was a great run. And it looked, he flew off down the pitch and he had a great chance. But I kind of wish he'd cut inside, to be honest. I think it was Will Collar coming in and entered the penalty area. You're never quite confident Wotton would have scored from that position with the keeper being at the near post. But it was a good chance, and it was a nice, lively start from that point of view.
I think if you cut inside when you're in that position as well, you've got a chance of getting a penalty early on as well, because the players, obviously, the covering defender's slightly behind you. So if you cut across him, good chance that he'll clip your feet. I'm talking crap. Tanto is not the player to have there. That was Fevrier, definitely, all day long to have there. Yeah. Anyways, I mean, I thought the start was good. I want to shout out to Moxon. So I've been not critical, but I've been underwhelmed by his start to his county career. He's taken a bit of a time. I know, Steve, you've been very vocal in your support for him, and I thought he had an absolute stunning game for us. So hats off to him. He was all over the place. He was playing Norwood diags. He was shooting from distance, made the keeper work, hit the bar. Brilliant game for him. So I'm looking forward to, and it takes a big amount of pressure, I think, off Bate and Camps coming back. What do you think, Lee? Did you think the game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Steve on this. Moxon's going to be a very, very good player for us. We're not going to see the best out of him this season. He's played about 7 games before coming here, I think, most as a sub, and he's not looked up to speed, especially for a Dave Challoner type team, because it's full intensity, full on, non-stop. And he's, and that's fine, you can't expect him to be. But yesterday, yeah, he was everywhere. He did all the things that you'd want a player to do. And I think next season, with a full pre-season behind him and everything like that, I think you'll see the reason why why he's here. And I think a fantastic job for us, box to box. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys read Des Hinks' little bit that he does match preview each week he puts out, but he asks us as a podcast to supply score prediction and stuff, and I had 2-2. I put 2-2 down, and I said that Owen Moxon needs to have the same sort of game that he had against County 2 years ago in the playoff final for Carlisle, and I think he did that. I thought, I thought he was the engine room in that midfield and allowed Norwood to dominate even more.
Yeah, he did.
I think there's more to come from it. There's more to come from it as well.
Yeah.
In terms of it.
Cool. So, I mean, just moving through that first half, Fevs was looking dangerous. I think the first few interactions he had with his marker, it was 1-on-1. Maybe he could have done a little bit better, but I think he was just warming up into that game. He was playing with them a little bit. He kept cutting inside on his left, and they picked that, didn't they? They kept on tackling him when he cut inside on his left. But the first time that he cut in on, or he went down the line instead, skinned the defender. And it was always nice when he was being marked by their number 6. I don't know whether you noticed, but there's a number 9 out there as well.
Yeah.
Who seemed to be a little bit better. Maybe he was their proper left wing back, because they actually went to a back 5. If you listen to their manager's post match, he was saying that they changed their formation to sort of go to this back 5, and they did not look comfortable to me in that back 5. Steve, I don't know what you thought being there.
Yeah, completely agree. I watched, for comparison, I watched Arsenal versus PSG last week, and Martinelli was in a
comparison. Love it.
Yeah, but go with me on this. Martinelli was in a similar position, and they both started very similar. He wasn't. He was trying to take on the player, but getting nowhere. And I thought Fevre started like that, and he was trying to find his way, and he wasn't getting past the player. But once he worked it out, he learned as the game went on. And then he was beating him for fun. He was just phenomenal. He had a fantastic game.
And his pace over sort of 3 or 4 yards is frightening. And if they defend high, he's going to get that ability, I think, to basically get down the byline, but without running out of pitch, which is what he wants. I think he wants to be playing against the back line that's like pretty far up the pitch, so he's got space to just kick it and run.
He's looking strong and fit, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's looking really good.
But that first 10 minutes, he seemed to be running into the defender a lot of the times. He, instead of beating him. What I was really impressed with Fevs is just the habit of slowing it back down. He likes, if you watch on the highlights, he likes to slow the ball down. So he stopped virtually, and he'll stand there with his foot on the ball, and then that sudden burst of energy is what beats the defender always. But he traps you, doesn't he? He lures you in, thinking he's going to slow you down and try and dribble past you. But he don't. He slows you right down to you're standing still, knocks it past you, and just runs past you like you're not even there.
It's that quick off the mark. I think the key with Fevre is, and I've been saying this all season whenever he's played, is I wouldn't let him come past the halfway line. Just leave him on the halfway line to do his job. Don't have him defending. Doesn't need to do anything like that. Leave him up there, because he will absolutely terrorise defences at any level, the way he moves that ball.
Do you know what was amazing? Is the lad's only literally the last couple of weeks turned 22. Something I completely forgot. And I thought he was mid-20s to late 20s, but he's literally just turned 22. And now the same again. We know that players like Ethan Pye and stuff will all be talked about during the summer, but I bet you there's a lot of clubs looking at him after Saturday's display.
Nice long contract though.
Yeah.
I think I think you're spot on. I mean, obviously Tanto's he must be 25, 26 now, isn't he? I think. Not old, obviously, when a 46-year-old podcast host is talking about ages, but there we go. But 25, 26 years old. I think you're right. I think Feb's potentially, certainly after that performance and what we know that he can do, now he's had those defensive shackles taken off him. I think Dave has sort of realised, isn't he, now he's not really a wing back. There's no point trying to use him as a proper wing back, even though he played there for Colchester, blah, blah, blah.
They were shite, weren't they? And they were near bottom of the league when he had to do that for them. So, this is a bit different, isn't it? I love him, mate. I'm a massive Jaden Fevrier fan, I'll be honest with you. I love players. It's old-fashioned, isn't it? Get the ball, just run at you. You know what I mean? Just get the ball and run. Love it. Not wrong with that. And
you could tell that as soon as he was taken off, they got a lot more confidence down that side. So they started pushing more. They started pushing their wing back and their left-sided defender a lot higher up the pitch, which meant they were getting a few overloads, which I think eventually led to them scoring that second goal. It wasn't that side, but the way that the pitch was sort of, had a lot more space to do that because they didn't need to mark Fevrier. And such a shame Jack Diamond wasn't available, because between the two of them, you'd want one of them on the pitch, wouldn't you, Dave, at all times, I think. You can argue whether both of them can play in the same team. I'd love to see that personally, but maybe it's a little bit too attacking. But Dave, I think having one of them on the pitch is always good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Agree. It'd be better off it. Yeah, I mean, it's one of them, isn't it? It's like if you sort of put them both, you're kind of sacrificing Santo for one, for possibly then. And then it's like, well, do you really want to do that? I don't know. Catch-22, innit?
I think you might see that on Wednesday. I think
bring Santo on. There's an impact. Maybe.
But I wouldn't be surprised that they will go overcompensate and double up on Febs, which means that if we put Jack Diamond on the left, that's the obvious, the dummy such that, because they will be more worried from the first game with Febs and making sure that they stop that supply well. The good thing is we've got Jack Diamond, who can just be in a different way. He's not the same player as Febs. He does it in his own way, in his own style, but he has the same sort of impact attacking wise.
No, I'm not sure I'd sacrifice Tanto. I'd be more inclined to sacrifice Wootton than Tanto. I thought Tanto was brilliant yesterday. Every time he got the ball into his feet, he was turning, he was causing havoc. Their defenders didn't know what to do to step close to him, step off him. I thought it was brilliant.
You say that though, Lee, but they're not a tall backline. I thought Beckles was a lot bigger than he actually is. So we were getting a hell of a lot of joy out of playing balls up to Wootton, and those set pieces. I mean, we've got to talk about them. Having Hills, Horsfall, Pye, Wootton in the box for Norwood's set pieces, they were shitting themselves every time we got a free kick. And it's no surprise that we managed to score from one of them. Anyway, we've just been like sort of tickling around the first half, haven't we, guys? Sort of like, should we talk about it? Who wants to take me through their goal?
It was a shit show.
Go on, Dan, you do it.
It was a shit show. Let's be absolutely honest. Before, it was a free kick. Ethan Pye, the players, dummy, put the ball through his leg and ran into him. You could argue it's a free kick or not. It's a free kick, but we didn't defend it properly. So let's get that right. We didn't defend it properly. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Fraser that sort of put his foot through it and skied it up in the air. It was a poor clearance. The header back, I personally think that the Malad was offside from the header back, never mind the flick on. I know it's when you look at the angle, it looks tight, but with VAR now, you only have to be a toe offside. Yeah, what's more worrying is all the excuses that's coming out. It's a mistake. We know it's a mistake. But as Dave said, that he spoke, or the coaching team spoke to the officials. They said that they saw the flick on. That was okay. That the player that scored was onside when the ball was flicked on, which is the worrying part. I've heard bits now that the referees are backtracking and they're saying that they never saw the flick on, and that's why they allowed it. They will make excuses. If this was a Premier League game, obviously the referees would have come out with a statement while the game's going on. Obviously, 24 hours after the game, we still haven't heard anything from them. And don't expect anything, to be honest, because let's be absolutely honest, nobody really cares, apart from us. The good thing about it wasn't a final. It wasn't the second leg. It hasn't really decided anything. We still can get back out of it. But let's be absolutely honest. They'll move that referee up to the Championship next season. Let's be absolutely honest. I won't be surprised if I see him doing a Premier League game some point next season because they think.
Do you not think, though, Dan, that he's been let down by his linesman because the referee isn't looking for the offside? Okay, it's the linesman's job, and maybe they are backtracking. Who knows? But he can see. It's his job to see the flick on. Okay, he's looking straight at the ball. He's watching the ball. Oh, the ball's going over there. Oh, right, yeah, that guy. Oh, it's just slightly changed trajectory because Ethan Pye behind him is like, I can't head that ball anymore because it's no longer coming towards me. Yeah, it's his job. It's his job to see the flick on. The linesman's job to see the offside, and they just say, "Oh, he just flicked that on. Was he offside at the point that the ball sort of went towards that dude there?" Oh, yes, 3-4 yards offside. Simple.
Yeah, you're totally spot on. And we've seen clips how referee teams work before. The linesman should be going, he's offside. I've got an offside player here, an offside player. As soon as that goes in, the referee goes, he's flicked it on. It's been flicked on by the attacking team. He's in an offside position. It's offside. They work as a team. That's the worrying bit about all this is, like you say, simple things like communication, because even after the goal is scored, they can talk to each other and say, was he in an offside position? Yeah, he was in an offside position, but it was flicked on by the defender. Referee goes, no, it weren't flicked on by the defender. That was flicked on by the attacking player. Well, therefore, the goal's offside. The
problem is, Dan, there's no James McLean on the pitch to make a third voice, is there? Steve, didn't you think it was just like Wrexham, except...
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not over it yet, to be honest. I kind of lost my calm a little bit during the first half. I had to go and take a break at the side of the stand at half time just to clear my head. I don't think the beers that I had before the game helped, to be honest. But I mean, it was at the end where we were all stood and we saw the ball go over and everyone's like, well, that's offside. And we're waiting for the flag and there was no flag.
Yeah.
And we're like, no way is that goal stood. And then literally my phone lit up. I must have got 7 or 8 text messages of non-county fans saying, oh my God, that's the worst decision I've ever seen. And they're sending me photographs and that wasn't helping me, to be honest. But it was so offside. But I get what you're saying, Jimmy, about the line has let the referee down. But if the liner thinks there's no flick on, he's not going to flag because he thinks it's onside if there's no flick on. So I think the referee's to blame as well. Surely, I mean, we don't know what they've said over the headsets, but if he's seen that flick on, did he tell the liner? And we're never going to know this. We're never going to know this. But at the end of the day, it was blatantly offside, one of the worst offsides I've ever seen in my life, and I'm fuming.
They must record the communications, though. They absolutely must do. So there will be a recording out there somewhere of the communication between that referee and the linesman, and that must make up part of the apology letter when it comes in, surely.
Yeah, but it's going to be something like along the lines of, how much did you have on Kelman? How much did you on Kelman to score for? I got 4-1. I've had $2,000 on it. You know what I mean? I would be checking the bank account. The only solace I get from it is that lineman's woke up this morning, right? He's got up, You know what I mean? He's got out of bed, scratched his bollocks, come down, put the kettle on and everything like that. He's looked at his phone and all his mates and family are going, "You fucking idiot." You know what I mean? How did you miss that? So he'll have to live with being a complete fool for the rest of his life, you know, which I'm something I'm used to. So, you know, it's not that bad. But I would definitely be checking some bank accounts going, what's going on here? Because
can we all agree, though, that it's because I've seen a lot of things that, Leighton Orient cheating and stuff. You can't really say it's Leighton Orient cheating. The ball's come to him, he's put it in the back of the net. As kids, we're all told to play to the whistle. You know, it's as simple as that. I don't put anything onto Leighton Orient. The ball's come to him, he's put it in the back of the net, he's done what he's done. I think he's waiting for the referee's whistle to a certain extent. I know, like you say, what you said, Steve, I was stood there in line and I'm not fretting because I'm going, as soon as it flicked on, I'm going, he's offside. And it's like, okay, well, why is he not? What's going on here? Why are we restarting? Why is he? That's not offside, you know. And it's just you're in shock. I think a lot of county fans are in shock for a few minutes after that goal because we're all going, that was offside. Surely, did we miss something? What
do we think? So do we think, Dave, that once that horrific mistake has been made, and they go in for halftime, okay, and then someone has got to tell him. Someone has got to tell that team, fucking hell, you have really fucked up, or we fucked up, whether it's this fourth official or the fifth official or the sixth official, however many there were there. And do you think there is something there in the back of their minds thinking, if we get a chance, we're going to have to level it up?
Yeah.
There has to be.
I definitely think referees do that sometimes. Absolutely, they do, yeah.
Well, at the time when I was having my rant, I was chatting to some county fans that I don't know, and I was showing them the clip, you know, that everyone sent me, and I said, I won't be surprised this second half if we get a penalty.
But the ironic thing, Steve, is that it was a penalty.
I know.
It's not like it was a slight powder puff one. It was 100% penalty. Yeah. Although could you argue that Horsfall climbed on him? Could you argue that? I don't know.
A little bit, maybe.
Pushing him down. I think the big one for me, I mean, let's just talk about the whole game as it is. Everything sort of molds into one anyway. So big one for me. I don't know what you think, Lee, but that penalty that he didn't give to them, the trip by Norwood, I've seen them given.
Never a penalty in a million years, and I'll tell you why. Right?
Dave, what do you think about that trip by Norwood?
Yeah,
go on, Lee,
it's never a penalty, right? There is contact on him, but he goes down like he's been shot. He jumps to the ground quick, and at the end of the game, when they did the interviews for him, they went, "Yeah, you could have had another penalty there, Charlie," and he went, "Well, yeah, because I don't dive. It's like, well, you did though, you dick. You know what I mean? You did dive. We just seen you do that. I thought the referee was going to book him at first, and it's only when you slow it down you think, well, he's touched him. But no, it's not a penalty. The other penalty is a penalty where it's phrased and that's a penalty. I have no things with that. The one on, is it Ills or Horsfall when he's got him round the neck? I mean, listen, that goes on every single game, so I don't know if you can give penalties for that. I'm not, I probably wouldn't as a ref. But no, that Kelman for me, the way he went down, we're talking about Orient cheating. I don't think Orient cheats anywhere. I think they're a very, very good side, some very good players, very good manager. But at the end, I don't dive. It's like, yeah, you do. You know what I mean? Yeah, you did. Don't lie to me, son. So, yeah.
Should our penalty, should that have been a red card as well for our penalty?
For the handball? No, not for me. I don't think it's... I mean, he's not intentionally done it. I don't think neither handball are intentional. It's just where their arms are, and you know what I mean.
I disagree on that, Lee. I think his was very much intentional because he knew that Horsfall had the jump on him, and he thought, if I don't stick my hand up here, that ball is going in the back of the net. So I think that was intentional. The Horsfall one, there is an argument to say, was Horsfall's arm in a natural position or unnatural position with the way that he was sort of trying to get to the ball?
We were talking about
a little bit, and then the
penalty,
distance the ball travels, it's like a meter at most. Okay, it's not
the arm's up though, isn't it? It's away, it's up. Listen, I don't agree with the rule. Don't get wrong. That's the rule, is it not? But it's away from your body.
Well, with that one, I thought it actually hits the Leighton Orient player's arm first, and then I thought Fraser Horsfall's actually falling backwards when it actually hits his arm.
Yeah, it's tricky. I think Fraser got a touch on the ball, which knocked it onto their player, and then it sort of ricocheted up off their player's thigh onto Horsfall's arm. So
as he's falling back.
Yeah,
I didn't have any arguments about the penalty being given. I was more I'll be honest with you, I was more annoyed with the fact we didn't stop the cross coming in more than anything. I think Torre's got to stop that. He's got to stop that cross at that point. He's got him stood up. I know he's a good player. He's got to stop the cross, but I didn't have any arguments here. It's like, for me, it was a pen. I can't, But the Kelman one, never.
What do we think about the Alice band incident in the first half? So Hills lost his Alice band, whatever you call them. That probably isn't an Alice band, but that little band that he keeps his hair. The guy literally ripped it out of his head and ran off and threw it on the ground or something.
3-game ban. That's what I think.
Yeah.
No different than Jack Diamond.
Yeah.
Because he's got his hand pulling at his hair, basically.
Yeah. I'm being ridiculous when I say a 3-game ban, but it is no different than Jack Diamond incident. So it's like
it's worse. It's worse than the Jack Diamond one because the lad knew exactly what he was doing. It weren't like an instinctive trying to grab his shirt or anything like that. He grabbed his band, and then once he's grabbed it, he refused to give it back to Hills, ran 5 yards away and chucked it on the floor. If what's people say, that's the modern day gone soft, but hold on a minute, we've just been hit by losing Jack Diamond for that game for something that less than that, with less evidence and less visit. We look at the video clips that Jack Diamond's been found guilty on. None of us could really go, really? And we all saw it from the stands, and we all saw it on the TV, that clear as day that he's grabbed his Alice band, rips it out of his hair, and ran off with it. And like you say, there's no difference to, that and anybody else. So I'm hoping that there is repercussions because, we're not. Let's be absolutely honest. We're going to get, apart from a letter from whoever it is that manages it, is it Howard Webb now, the chief Womble. We're not. That's all we're going to get in it. And to be honest, everyone goes on about, we need VAR. It's like, no, we don't need VAR. We just need better referees, better quality of referees.
Why?
I mean, with the Diamond one, I don't think Diamonds is not a ban, a ban for me, and I don't think this one. I mean, it will be, setting the precedence with Diamond, but I wouldn't have, for either incident. I don't think I'd have given them any punishment. I think if someone's got long hair or a man bun, certainly when I played football, you were obliged to pull it, and that's kind of part of the thing. It's like wearing red boots back then. You didn't dare do that on a Sunday league game. But no, I think the rules went mad with that. And, given what's happened, then obviously he should get the ban. But personally, I wouldn't have banned either.
Totally.
Why do we think that there's a different rule for a player being, so their suspension carrying into the playoffs, and an assistant manager being shown the red card and their suspension not being carried into the playoffs? Because their assistant manager guy, Paul Terry or something, whatever, he got sent off for stopping a quick throw in the last game of the season against Wickham.
Huddersfield.
Huddersfield. That was it. Well, thanks, Dan. But then the commentator on Sky is like, so he's there, which enables their manager to basically sit up in the stand and sort of look at the game from up on high. But his ban doesn't start until next season. I'm thinking, hang on, we've got a player here that got a 3-game ban, but his carries into the playoffs. It's bonkers.
Yeah, makes no sense.
GFL, isn't it?
It is. Let's finish up on the referee stuff, because I want to get onto some positive stuff that County did. And my final question to whoever wants to answer it is, will we get a Premier League referee for the Wednesday game? Because I've looked at the games that are on Wednesday, and there's no Premier League, there's no Championship. No,
don't want one.
The ref's already been done.
Don't want one.
Yeah, the ref called James Bell. We've never had him. He's done a lot of Championship games. Now, with a name like Bell, there's going to be a lot of people there that are going to use that name for, maybe make up names for him. No, I wouldn't be so childish to do that. But he is the official on Wednesday. So
Okay, well, seeing as you sit 2 rows in front of me, Lee, to the side, if I hear any references to bells and ends and wankers and referees, I'll be having stern words with you. Put it that way. There's children around.
Right. It's every single game in me, and it doesn't really matter who the referee. We can have the best referee in the world and give us everything, and I'll still find something to moan at him about. You know what I mean? Because I don't like.
Okay, well, let's move on from the ref. We've given him 20 minutes of this podcast.
It was the right thing to do to give it 20 minutes. So yeah.
Okay. So let's talk positive stuff. Okay, so we score 2 goals. Yeah. Decent penalty from Norwood. That's what, his 3rd maybe of the season.
Yeah.
He's looking pretty good from the penalty spot. Touch wood. Got some wood over it. There you go. Touch wood. Looking pretty good from the penalty spot. Fraser, cracking header to take us 2-1 up. And I think we got enough to beat these lot at Edgeley Park. So talk to me about the good stuff, somebody. Dan, what was good about that game and why do you think it's going to do as well for the second leg? Who had a great game and who is going to be really worrying Leyton Orient for that second leg?
To be honest, I think all of them had a great game. Even Torre was probably his best game in many weeks, I thought, to be honest. Moxon, like you say, we've mentioned before, was probably his best appearance in a county shirt so far. Do you know what I mean? I can't knock any of them. Corey had no chance with the goals. I thought, I couldn't fault any of them. I thought they really, all of them, really did well. And like I say, it's a big shout for obviously for Wednesday with Wednesday's game, because I think if he changes it about, somebody's going to miss out. They may not deserve to, but I can't fault them, to be honest. I thought we had the game right. Like you say, Dave will do his nut, because like you say, the goals they scored, regardless of the rights or the wrongs of them, we didn't defend properly in the build up to them goals, and I think that'll be something that they'll work on. But I thought they were all. Tanto's running was brilliant. I thought the strength of Wotton and Tanto, they had them on toast, to be honest. And then Fevs would pick up the balls in them little areas and run at them as well. So I'm confident that that these guys can get over the line. Yeah.
Go on, Dave. Your thought on the team for the next game? Would you change anything?
I don't think you should. No. The only thing that I could possibly see him changing would be potentially bringing Diamond back, but realistically, you've got the guys like Louis Spate and that are sort of just coming back from injury. The guys that played on Saturday showed me personally enough that they've got it in their locker to win that game, regardless of whether he changes it or not. But I don't know. Maybe the guy that gets paid the big bucks doesn't see it that way, and he could potentially change 3 or 4 players.
Yeah.
Because we don't know, what we've come out with Knox-wise. I've not heard anything, but hopefully everyone's okay.
Yeah.
I thought Adai did well. He didn't have to do much, but what he did, he managed to. He made a good save with his foot, didn't he? When they sort of marauded down the left-hand side in the second half, he made 1 or 2 regulation saves, as you say. To be fair, if Kelman had gone Adai's way for that penalty, because he didn't look to see which way the keeper was going, he just basically decided and smacked it to Adai's right. But I back Adai to save penalties, like Donnarumma saves penalties. If he goes the right way, he's saving that penalty with the way that he's narrowing that angle down.
Can we also just have a special mention, though? Can we just have special mention to the guy that was in the in the Airbnb with the flag?
Oh, brilliant!
Oh, he was top.
What a legend! What a legend! It came like all the players came out, and I just looked over, and Ellis went, "Look at him over there." I went, "Oh, mate, what a cracker! Absolute belting."
Yeah, but talking about flags, though, have you seen that Dave Thompson didn't get his flag in?
Yeah.
Yes.
On social media, it's absolutely disgusting. So so apparently the flag is like fire certified, and
yeah, they said it was too big,
a little bit too big. But come on, I mean, exercise some common sense.
Yeah, but the caveat on that is that he's been in there the last 2 trips we've been to Leyton Orient only a few months ago with the flag, and it was never been an issue.
Yeah. So he decided not to go in, I believe, from what I've seen. So
binned it off.
I've got some more positives.
Go on.
The fans, they were brilliant. When that second goal went in that away end, oh my word, it was bouncing. It was just amazing. The atmosphere was incredible. And I don't know, like Lee and Dave, I mean, what did you think? I thought it was brilliant.
I thought it was ace. Ellis jumped up on one of the, where the steps come up. And the one of the stewards that was near me, he kept ushering everybody sort of, we've got to keep the stairs clear, and then went and stood on the stairs. So I went, hey mate, you can't stand there. And he went, why? I went, well, you're telling everybody else that they're not allowed to stand there, but then you're standing where you're telling everybody that you're not able to stand. And then Ellis went and jumped on one of the things, and the guy was like, oh my God, and he's trying to pull him down, and Ellis was just like, do one, mate, not interested. I'm staying where I am.
And we got the rendition of Dave Challoner, we love Stockport Loves You More Than You Will Know at the end as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've not heard that before.
I've not heard that one.
All you could hear was county fans. That's all you could hear was county. From kick-off right the way through. Even after they scored, it was still quite quiet from their side. And then obviously once we, because we had a lot of control in the game, didn't we? Once we sort of wrestled control back, we could hear county fans again. It was, but I expect nothing else if I'm honest with you. What I mean? We got the best fans.
If I can just say though, once again, it was me that got us those 2 goals in the second half. The lucky hat wasn't on in the first half time. And bearing in mind we're in Russ's County Arms, so it's baking in there. Stick the hat on, go 2-1 up, and I'm thinking, here we go.
I told you give the ref respects, didn't I? On that, give the ref respects on that chat as well. You know what I mean?
I don't know if you saw that. Obviously, the county Twitter, they put out that obviously we got a goal down, and Specsavers then commented, "We'll be there in 15 minutes or something."
Closest shot 15 minutes away. Yeah.
But as we sort of moved on to a little bit on Wednesday's game, I think one thing that did disappoint me, 10 minutes before kickoff, and most all the Leyton Orient stands were empty. No atmosphere at all before the game, really, apart from coming from county fans. Now, Wednesday night, county fans, rather, if you're listening to this or you're getting told to this, be in your seats 20 minutes before kickoff, please. Create an atmosphere. The Sky TV cameras go live at 7:30. Make that place look like it's absolutely bouncing. There's a lot of effort gone to creating a TiVo for the Cheadle end. Make sure you're in your seats early, 15, 20 minutes before, to get that done, because nothing's going to look worse than a TiVo in a half-filled stand because you all want an extra pint, or you turned up late, or you forgot that this parking's a bit of a nightmare or something like that. So, call out for all county fans, please get there early, get in your seats early. For one game, you can sacrifice. Andy, I'm talking to you directly here. You can sacrifice that extra pint. You don't need 6 pints before a game. You can cope with 5.
No, he's working again now, isn't he?
Well, all right. You can cope with 4 opposed.
Yeah.
But all county fans, please. I mean, I won't be there. I'll be watching it on the TV. But please, if you're going to Edgeley Park, get there early, get in your seat early, create, the atmosphere doesn't start 2 minutes after the game's kicked off. The atmosphere needs to start 20 minutes before the game kicks off.
Yeah, can we just put a disclaimer on there as well? Dan isn't actually saying smuggle beer in or anything like that either. That extra pint is going to have to stay in the pump. Don't put it under your top. But yeah, listen, I'd love for it really make it as intimidating as possible, and that's what you want. That's how you want it.
What do we think about like light shows and all that sort of stuff that's starting to come in, like a bit of pyrotechnics? Think the club will do something like that with the Sky cameras or not?
I hope not.
Yeah,
I hope not.
Oh, I quite like it, Lee. I quite like it.
If it gets announced, like I said before, I'm happy if they got a DJ in and had a DJ set going on from 7:15. I know that obviously the fire cannons and all that lot, some are not like, but we've got a massive scoreboard. We've got them electric scoreboard signs. We've seen what Crystal Palace do when we went to Crystal Palace, how they incorporate them electric barriers, the signage around the pitch with the music and everything like that. It's a big game. It's the biggest game since the last big game until the next big game. But it is the biggest. Do you know what I mean? It's
Since Saturday.
Well, it is, isn't it? That's how it works at the moment, isn't it?
Biggest game in 4 days, Dan.
It's the biggest game since the last big game, and then until the next big game. And that's how it is. That's how, when you're a team that's on the up, every game builds the jeopardy, the rewards build. The opportunity for a hero to be, and a legend of the club is there, and we've got to take that opportunity. And we've seen it before. It's brilliant. We've done it before with even like the fan marches to the ground and stuff like that. We've done it before. There's no reason why we can't do it, because literally, this is at this moment in time the biggest game in Dave Challoner's career, under these players' career, and county probably under modern history over the last decade, if not 20 years, one of the biggest games. And let's be absolutely honest, if we win it and we get to Wembley, the Wembley will be the biggest game. That's how football works.
Yeah. Do we think, okay, so I mean, we're all disappointed that they scored that 88th minute equaliser, but do we think that it makes it very simple as to what the players have to do? Win the game, you win the tie. Yeah. If you go in with a 2-1 lead, is there a little bit at the back of your mind, like human psyche, thinking, "Oh, we can just draw this and we still go through"? Do we think it's maybe a positive that it's all square and we just win the game?
Possibly, with the way Dave Challoner obviously sets it up. I mean, certainly you don't want to be on the back foot, do you? You want to be on the front foot as much as possible, and there is that sort of option then to go on the back foot a bit. Whether you get pushed back or not. Either way, it's going to be a really, really tough game. Leighton Orient, really good side. What they've done this season, fantastic. I do, and I said when the playoffs, this was this was the game I wanted to avoid was Orient. I would have been happy with Charlton or Wycombe already. And I do think whoever wins this tie wins the playoff. But yeah, it's simple, like you said. We'll see what happens. But I fully expect us to go on the front foot with this, and there's no excuses not to go on the front foot. Even though they're a good away side, we're a good home side. Get on the front foot, get the atmosphere going, get the players going, relax, settle, and we've got enough quality to go about doing it. We've just got to be, right at it to get on over that.
I think you should give the pre-match team talk, Lee. You're already making me feel like sort of on top of the world with that. Get yourself in there.
If I was to get the pre-match the team talk, players where I'm putting transfer requests, you know what I mean? It'd be very, very simple. If you don't do this, I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't make a good football manager. I could maybe be Mike Bassett's assistant, but that's about it. So yeah.
Go on, Steve. What do you think? What's going to happen?
On Wednesday?
Yeah.
So I think the lineup will change. I think Richie Wellens and Dave Challoner are going to be having a little personal battle about who can do out who with tactics, because they're both very big into that. I don't think he'll go with the same lineup purely because that's too obvious. And Wellens will have learned what to do to play against us. He's no mug. He knows what he's doing. So I think there'll be some surprises in that team sheet. It might be as simple as just playing Jack Diamond, giving him and Fevs to, and sacrificing maybe Wotton or Tanto. I'm not sure. But it's going to be interesting. Are we good enough to do it? Absolutely. And going back to the DJ stuff you were saying, I think it's a good idea, but it should just be at the right volume, not too loud, and it should all be songs like Depeche Mode, the Horsefall song, should be the Tanto on Fire song. It should all be stuff like that that's going to get the crowd going. Because some of them games I've been to, like at Birmingham, I think it was it Reading away, you can't hear a thing. The music's on that loud. They do it on purpose to drown you out, I think.
It's all right.
So, hey?
It's all right. Sorry, Steve.
Brilliant. Absolutely. No, but
have we got any volunteers to be DJ?
What was that?
Have we got any volunteers to be the DJ?
Oh Jesus!
I'm sure there's somebody out there that's in the county faithful that's a DJ.
I'm sure Andy would do it for a couple of nights.
Andy would do karaoke for a couple of bits.
Now that
Okay.
I'd pay to watch that.
Yeah. Okay, guys. I think we've probably done this, and so we'll be back on Thursday. Well, the Courtyard Club Call won't be, but there's going to be a TSBW live podcast from the County Arms on Thursday. So that'll be Russ and Waggy, Andy, and potentially me as well. And so fingers crossed we'll all be, I'll be celebrating with a lovely soft drink, but the others I'm sure will be having a few beers. And then fingers crossed we'll get to Wembley. So, I can't wait till Wednesday. I'm going to be down Edgeley nice and early, into the stand nice and early. Otherwise, Dan will beat me up next time he sees me.
Honest, all fans, get in your seat nice and early. You know, as proof, please take a photo of you in your seat 20 minutes before kickoff, tag in the podcast, tag us guys in to prove that you're in your seat. We want all county fans in their seat 20 minutes. And guys, you're listening to this, you all know that one fan that's walking through the turnstiles after the game's kicked off. It is your job as a county fan to make sure they're there in their seats 15, 20 minutes before kickoff. That is your responsibility. That's what will help you to help the team get over the line. Forget all this paint it blue crap. We're not bothered about blue cookies or painting your dog blue and all that shit. Get in the stand, get in your seat 20 minutes early. No fucking about. No messing about with sweets or cakes. Get in your seat. Cheer the boys on.
Nice. And on that note, I think we'll leave it. Cheers, guys.
See you later.
Cheers.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Scarf Bagara War. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Remember, you can catch us every week on your favourite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. And a huge thank you to all of our Patreon members. Your contributions help keep the show running to bring the content you love. If you'd like to support the podcast and get access to exclusive special guest episodes, ad-free podcasts, and a monthly giveaway, head over to patreon.com/the Scarf Bagara War. And don't forget to follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content, and more. You can find us on X, Facebook, and Instagram, all at County Podcast. Lastly, if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review and share it with your fellow county fans. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Scarf Bagara War. Come on, County!